Today on Almost Adults.
I love performing. I do it. I love acting. I love everything about it. Just closed a couple pro gigs, and I'm nominated for this award coming up, and it's cool. I've had training in, how to cold read better. There's, monologues, both dramatic and comedic, that you kind of keep memorized and keep in the back of your head.
Order up, everybody. One Krabby Patty ready to go out.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole car started smelling like battery acid, and we're sort of tipping off this edge of this mountain road, and it was cool.
Oh, my friend Gage is gonna talk to you. Oh, and Jumper, he'll be there, too. Even though they're not close together, they're far away. There, one's in Tampa, the other one's in LA. Oh, Gage, what's the show called again?
Fucking, it's Almost Adults. Shit.
Almost adult. Shit.
Welcome to Almost Adults. The episode's number does not matter anymore. Today, we are here with my good friend and generic artist, Eric Hands.
Oh, hey, guy.
Welcome to the show, Eric.
Thank you.
Yep, I met Eric through some streams, and we hit it off, and he gave me his phone number for some reason.
I was very drunk.
Yeah, here we are.
How's it going, guys?
It is going well. It's about 10:30. I have about 2 biscotti in my stomach right now.
man.
I'm raring to go.
Wow, you're fancy.
I got about 2 cigarettes and a glass of water, so we're good.
Oh man, that'll last you.
Can we talk about biscottis for a minute? Because
Sure.
I've never gotten biscottis.
No?
No, I've never gotten biscottis. They're like a chocolate treat that you dip into coffee. I was just never a fan. And
Oh, is that what a biscotti is?
yeah, it's one of those crunchy little treats that you have, and you dip it in your coffee and you eat it.
Yeah, so for all you cultured individuals out there, when you're having a conversation with that fine dame at the coffee bar or something like that, and you get some biscotti for her, the plural is biscotti, the singular is biscotto. So if you just get her one biscotto and you're like, yo, babe, here you go, dip this in your coffee so I can dip it in you later. It's a biscotto.
You ever say you have it like under her napkin and you go, uh-oh, it's a biscotto?
No, I've actually never struck up a conversation under the pretense of biscotti. So.
And then that would fit well for later when you're hiding yourself underneath the covers and you're like, uh-oh, it's my penis. And then,
Substantially less tasty than a biscotto.
You remember that time earlier where the coffee shop biscotti? Now it's my dick. Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. Sex, please.
It's equally as chock full of nuts, though.
Ooh.
Ooh, all right. We're taking the humor to the next level, boys.
We are. Classic comedy.
Speaking of classic comedies, Eric, you are pretty good at comedy yourself because you act in comedy.
I do. I've been on a big sort of drama kick.
Eric's a funny guy. He made me ha-ha ho-he a few times.
oh, man. Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm auditioning for a comedy later tonight, actually, so that should be fun.
Ooh, good luck, my friend.
Yeah, it's a Shakespearean show, As You Like It. It's a good one.
As you like it. I never really got into auditioning. I've held a few auditions, but I've auditioned myself only a few times, probably because I'm not an actor.
Sure.
Could you actually take us through that process? Because that sounds very nerve-wracking. And what's your preparation? What do you go in? What do you say to the people during small talk?
Right. I mean, it's the first couple times you do it, it's definitely a little nervous and you're a little shaky. Over the years, I mean, it's just like preparing yourself for an interview, really. You're there to sell yourself as the best as you possibly can. And I've had training in, how to cold read better. There's, monologues, both dramatic and comedic, that you kind of keep memorized and keep in the back of your head so that you can just kind of pop them off when you're like, oh, cool, that was a cool audition. You got anything else for me? And if you kind of sit there and you're like, no, that's pretty much it, then you're kind of screwed, right? So you keep some monologues in the back. The big thing that's different about auditions versus actual stage acting is you are allowed to be as selfish as you want during an audition. Like, when you're on stage, it's your job to help make the other people around you better and look better. But when you're trying to get that part, it's all about you.
One more thing. Do you have any songs when people are like, I like it, but I want to hear you sing? Do you have anything in the little back of your head?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it depends on if you have like a piano just there that I can play or if they have like a full accompanist. Usually that's not going to be the case because
Wait.
if it's a specifically like, yeah.
Do they normally have, like, full orchestras just ready to go? Is that what you mean by full arrangement?
That would be fucking awesome.
Bring out the orchestra!
We have the Boston Pops back here for you if you're...
We're not really sure if we're going to hire you, but we did pay to have this full orchestra ready to go if you need it.
No, with musical auditions, if there's going to be a song, they will specify beforehand. Please bring in music for us. It's not something they spring on people.
What's your go-to?
Oh, God. It's Santa Fe from Rent if I'm trying to be serious about it. If it's like a dramatic sort of musical. If it's a comedy, probably Everyone's a Hero in Their Own Way from Dr. Horrible.
Yes, yes. That's one of my favorite musicals. That's what got me into musicals in the first place.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Hell yeah. I think that actually happened on one of our streams. You quoted Dr. Horrible, and I called you out on it, and you're like, this guy's okay.
And that's
That and
when he
Hamilton.
gave you his phone number, right there.
Yeah. Giving out your phone number willy-nilly to
I know.
any boy that flashes a smile to you at the bar.
My mom would be so disappointed.
What would your mother think?
I've actually been in the business for auditions myself.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
And
yeah.
Nothing as intense as what you're about to do tonight. I did stand-up comedy last night, which is a little bit like selling yourself during an audition.
Yeah. Tell us
Absolutely.
about that.
That was intense. Yesterday was particularly intense because it was an open mic night to start that off.
Mm-hmm.
And primarily all the audience members were comedians themselves waiting to get up there.
Right.
So starting off, that's a pretty rough audience to get into because they're all inside their own heads. They're all just waiting for their chance to get up there and do their stuff. So they're not really willing to laugh at any new material from somebody else.
No, especially when they're like, oh, I gotta be the funniest up there, because...
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My mother actually does stand-up comedy as well, so she tagged along. We both went with a couple of our friends from our improv comedy class, and she actually ended up winning $50 for being the best comedian there.
Whoa!
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
What's it like to lose to your mom?
It was a bitter taste in my mouth. I didn't talk to her the way home. No, it was good. She was also the only woman to perform there, comedian, and I think she just brought something different to the table, and the audience members enjoyed that, so that was pretty cool. Other than that, I guess I've been trying to expand. Now that I finished with this master's program, I've got some more free time on my hands, and I've been trying to expand maybe into like the voice acting community. I don't know, those kind of things, so I'm in the market for auditioning for some different stuff.
Yeah.
I am a huge proponent of the community theater. I think it's absolutely vital for the ultimate success of the art form, so you should do that.
Absolutely. I don't know whether or not there's seasons in terms of when they start casting. I assume there would be.
Really depends on the theater. Like here in Grand Rapids, there's 3 major theaters. 2 of them run auditions the weekend before rehearsal starts, and for all of their shows, regardless of when they are. And then the summer theater, Circle Theater, has all of their auditions for all of their shows concurrently over one weekend. So it just depends on the theater.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I'd be interested really in doing a lot more improv comedy and stuff like that because that I've really found a good niche there and it's just enjoyable. But I'll have to check out theater as well.
We should do some improv exercises on the podcast.
Okay, I mean,
I think
yeah.
that'd be fun. Do you know any?
Do I know any?
Yes.
I mean, generally, we've been focusing more on long form and just kind of establishing scenes. So there are a couple principles that are present in improv comedy. The main one is during the initial setup phase where you're creating the world that the members are in, you just yes and. If I were to come in and I'd be something like, Johnson, where are those reports that were supposed to be on my desk earlier this morning? By establishing something like that, one of you would have to step up and just yes and take the role of Johnson, who, considering how my voice was toned, is probably an inferior worker bee in the complex, and taking that role.
I'm your boss, actually. You don't talk to me like that.
And then from that, I'd have to be like, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson, just had a little bit too much coffee this morning. I must have gotten ahead of myself.
But you couldn't say, like, no, I'm the boss, and have, like, that sort of
Right.
power dynamic on
You
stage.
could.
If
You'd
you
be
ever say
fucking me
no
over.
during improv, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the point I was trying to get across.
So yeah, it's always about yes-anding your compatriot. It's just like what Eric said. When you're on stage and you're doing that, it's all about making your other actors look better.
Do you want to try one out? I mean, we got time.
That's up to Eric.
Dude, I'm in an improv class right now. I need to up my chops, so
Sure. If this goes well, we can always try doing an actual improv podcast.
Improv cast, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's actually a couple improvisers that do stuff on NPR, or a segment of it on NPR. It's called This American Life.
Yeah, I realize.
Oh yeah.
And they're very, very good.
There's also another improv podcast called Spontaneous Nation that I love so much with Paul F. Tompkins. And I highly recommend checking that out.
Paul F. Tompkins is, I feel like, God's gift to Earth.
He is very, very funny and also a very good guy. I've met him a few times, and he's just very down to earth. Whenever he puts on a show, he does a meet and greet afterwards, which is not normal for, like, a man of his, I don't know, quote-unquote fame, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, he's very nice and down to earth. Anyways, listen to Spontaneous Nation in This American Life.
Absolutely.
Those are the advertisements. John Claude, this is your pitch for the spin-off podcast.
All right, so we're doing an improv. You guys are gonna help me out?
I'm right there with you.
All right.
Cool. Let's start this off.
Order up, everybody. One Krabby Patty ready to go out.
Okay, we ordered actually 2 Krabby Patties. I'm surprised that you didn't get this from your manager.
I also ordered a kelp shake.
Wow, Squidward must have screwed up the order. Let me just run back there and get your kelp shake, and was that another Krabby Patty ready for you, right?
I'm sorry, I ordered 3 Krabby Patties. Can
3
you
Krabby
please
Patties.
get this right?
Absolutely. Yeah, so let me just run back there, whip it right up, and I'll be right back with you.
SpongeBob, do you have those Krabby Patties and the kelp shake I put in?
Squidward, I didn't get the order receipt back there. It said 1 kelp shake. Yeah, so let me get those ready right now for you.
I ordered 4 Krabby Patties. I'm sorry.
4 Krabby Patties? All right. Okay. There you go, sir.
Krabby Patties? Oh, go. Money.
4 Krabby Patties and money.
Krabby Patty formula should be mine as soon as I take it from these 4 Krabby Patties.
This is going right down the drain. I don't know where to go with this. First of all, Gage, you negated me when I came right out of the gate.
I was like, it just took lesson 1 and just shit.
Especially after we talked about it, we're just like, okay, we can't do this. All right, great.
Then it's like, if he's not going to negate, then I'm going to negate, and we're just
Let me just bury him under a deluge of negation.
I'm sorry.
And scene, everyone. Thank you.
We'll have to work on that before we do the improv.
Hey, man, it's all about practice.
You do a pretty good SpongeBob, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, dude. One of the few impressions I can do.
I don't know what my plankton was. The Krabby Patty formula should be mine.
My Squidward was pretty off, too.
In a cosmic sort of way, yes. I actually learned how to do my plankton from one of our earlier podcasts. It was Carlos who does an amazing plankton.
Carlos sort of has that plankton demeanor to him.
He does.
He has like I'm so confident, but I'm so thoughtful too.
I went to college.
Man, I can't do it. Can't do voices.
If you want to hit lower notes, oh yeah, you remember that from the Morgan Freeman thing. If you want to hit lower notes, just yawn, relax your vocal cords.
The Morgan Freeman thing was actually one of our bonus things, if you're curious about that, for our Patreon donors only. So consider donating to Patreon.
Absolutely.
Do it.
So we need to move away from improv because that was a travesty.
I don't want to say that was a travesty.
I want to say that was a life lesson learned.
It was a beautiful car wreck.
Yeah.
It's funny to actually observe and see how often people yes and in everyday conversations. Like if you are watching someone at a bar or a group of friends or something like that, and they're actually having an enjoyable conversation, for the most part, they'll probably be yes-anding and just adding on to what the other person was saying. If you watch a conversation and things are going badly, most likely someone's like negating the other person or they're debating with them or something like that. It's cool to see that in everyday life.
I tend to do that. I tend to, now that you say that, I tend to agree with what most people say. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Mm-hmm. But I always go, but if you consider this, you'll see that I am 100% right and you are not. Yeah, that's very cocky of me, but at the same
No
time...
wonder you're no good at improv. You're trying to make yourself look good.
I'm trying to look myself look good. I do.
That's why I'm making us look good. God.
No, you gotta have our backs, Gage. Come on, man.
I do have your backs. I just have my back a
Continually
little bit
add one
more.
Krabby Patty every time you talk.
Hey, I ordered 5 Krabby Patties, okay?
Whatever, dude.
That is an excessive order.
Look, I have this family of minnows that I'm trying to feed.
There you go. There's your skit.
Oh, man, I should have gone with that. Eric, why didn't you tell me that? Why didn't you give me the signal?
Pull on his earlobe. That's
I
the
just
signal.
wanted to do a Mr. Krabs and get out.
That's a hard one to do. I don't even know how you pulled that off.
Clancy Brown is talented.
So, guys, what's new? What's on the rocket docket?
What's new? Oh, I don't know. Not much. I got in a car wreck recently.
Oh,
Oh my
shit.
gosh, tell us about that.
Yes. So I was driving home from work. I was making an honest man's paycheck, and I was going home from work, and on the radio was Guns N' Roses. And as soon as the thing shrieked that says, "You're in the jungle now, baby!" I got rear-ended from behind. And, and I hit the car in front of me.
Oh, man.
Naturally, I pulled over, and I said, "Hello, my name is Gage. Why did you hit me?"
A very natural thing to say. That just flowed so well.
I was trying to be a gentleman about it.
Of course.
And he said, "Sorry, man, I was looking at a girl. You know how it is." And I said, No, I don't. Now you have to pay for my car, and you're going to pay for all of it. And the guy in front of me was like, "Dude, you need to hire a lawyer because this guy does not know anything." And I'm like, okay, well, if he doesn't know anything, then I don't really need a lawyer. I could outwit him myself. So anyways, by the way, the guy in front of me that I bumped into, it was like I was sandwiched in between 2 cars.
You were the sweet Oreo filling?
Yeah.
I was that sweet, creamy filling.
Mm.
Anyways, I talked to my insurance company, and they said, "You're going to have to talk to this guy's insurance company since he's at fault and you're not." And they said, "Oh, just take it to a body shop around where you live. We approve of that." And so I went over there, and they said, "Yeah, how fast was the guy going?" I'm like, "I don't know. We were on the freeway, so I suppose pretty fast." And they're like, "Yeah, this is $7,300 worth of damages."
$7,300? Oh my god.
Yes. And I said, "That's a lot of money that I do not have. You better be paying for every single cent of this." And yesterday I got the phone call back from Esurance, and they're like, yeah, we're just going to say it's a total loss. We're going to say how much we think your car is worth, and you're going to pay for a car of that exact same value. We're not going to repair your current car, which sucks because I like my current car.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk to them today about it because I think my car is worth a little more than $7,300.
Absolutely. So I don't know, I'm not familiar with the laws in California, but in Florida, if you were to rear-end another car, even if someone were to hit you and then you subsequently hit someone in front of you, you would still be at fault for the person that you hit in front of you. How does it work in California?
Well, in California, from what I gathered, it seems like it's entirely the person who initiated its fault.
Gotcha.
Because I was at a complete stop, and he just rammed right into me, and I rammed into the guy in front of me. I had no control over it, so it's all his fault.
All right, well, that works out for you.
From my time living in California, I believe that is correct.
Yes. Have you gotten a fender bender in California, Eric?
Oh, yeah, I've been in a couple accidents in California.
What was the craziest one like?
Crazy one, now.
I guess I actually have been in a crazy... It wasn't when I was driving. I was a very young child on my way to a baseball game, and we lived on we had to go down a windy mountain road, and there was a motorcyclist that took one of the turns way too hard, and he, started sliding on the ground, and then, his tire rammed into my dad's front left tire and knocked it clean off, and, the whole car started smelling like battery acid, and we almost, were sort of, tipping off this edge of this mountain road, and it was cool. I lived.
I like how you ended that. You're like, pretty cool. I think.
Sweet, bro.
That's like a story you tell to a girl at a bar. Yeah, motorcycles, they're pretty gnarly, but did you know I survived a motorcycle hitting right into me? I hung off a cliff and I was fine. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Dude, sweet.
And here's my dick, sex please.
Oh, yeah.
That's...
Oh my God, you poor thing. Let me just...
You poor thing. Yeah, it was about 15 years ago, so I think you should help me through it.
That was 18 years ago.
Let me just touch that biscotto for you.
Biscotto. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, it's my biscotto.
So the only accident I've ever been in it was back in high school, and I was extremely bored one Saturday, and...
So I got into a car wreck.
I just wanted to feel the rush, man. No, for some reason, this was the stupidest idea of mine. My mom was chilling out in her bedroom, and I run in, and I'm like, hey, Mom, I'm going to go surprise you with something. And she's like, all right. And so I leave the house, and I go pick up my friend Nathan, thinking that, I don't know, my friend Nathan would be a good surprise.
Surprise, here's a friend of mine.
And then on my way back, picking him up, I was doing a right turn, but it was not like you didn't have to stop at the light. It had its own designated right turning lane, so you could theoretically just keep going right without stopping if there was a clear line of traffic. But there's a car in front of me, and so I was not paying attention, so I was just kind of slowly easing through on my way to the right, and he had completely stopped waiting for the traffic in front of him to go, and I just bumped right into him, and I'm thinking, fuck, I'm screwed. I'm gonna have to show my mom this crazy, horrible accident that I got into. There was no damage to his car or my car, so everything was perfectly fine, but when he got out of his car, so did his pregnant wife.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh my God, I killed the child. And he was just like, what? Why did you hit my car? I don't care about my car, but I care about my wife.
Oh.
So he like kind of let me go because he saw I was a young kid, but he's just like, you have to be more careful, otherwise my wife, you'll hurt someone one day.
Was he Austrian?
It was some sort of foreign. That's the accent I decided to go with.
Some sort of foreign. He was probably like from the Midwest.
We do sound pretty crazy.
You sound really wacky.
So that was my story. It was a trial of hardships.
And that's the only accident you've ever been in?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, personally, that I was the cause of, people have bumped my dad's car and things like that, but
I don't know why you have like people dying in your stories. Like for the David podcast that we just put out, you had the guy who got thumped in the chest and he had a heart attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, no one died in this story.
Yeah, but you're like, a child almost died. And I laughed at that for some reason because I'm a horrible human being.
It's cathartic. You build up this tension in your body from something that's unusual and shocking, and then the only way to relieve that stress is to laugh.
Have you ever done that when people try to, like, tell you something serious? Or compliment you, in my case. Like, whenever people try to compliment me, I just kind of laugh it off.
Oh, no, I accept that shit. I'm like, yeah, I'm awesome.
Yeah, no, I've never done that before, Gage. You were alone.
Oh dear. Here's something that's sort of sad. Whenever I start crying a lot, I eventually divulge into laughter. It's scary.
Sounds like hysteria.
Dated a girl who used to do that. It was weird.
Was it me? Was it me the whole time?
I really hope not.
I pull off my mask and it's me.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it was all a ruse.
Damn.
So I wanted to jump in real quick while we were talking about car wrecks and insurance laws, because Michigan has the worst insurance law ever. We run what's called no-fault insurance. So regardless of the situation, you are never at fault for the damage on the other person's car. You're only at fault for the damage on your car.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's awful. Like, I got straight up T-boned, coming home a few years ago, and they're like, yeah, it sucks. You were clearly not at fault, but it's no fault, so here's the bill. I was like, oh, shit. And it was my first, accident coming from California to Michigan. I'm like, well, this is dumb.
Oh, no. Also, yeah, I wanted to add to John Claude's story. You could have got T-boned instead of, getting someone slightly rear-ended.
In what way? Why?
It seems like you were going, into traffic, or you could have, gone into the traffic and then the oncoming traffic could have hit you. At least, on the side.
I mean, there wasn't much traffic going that way. It was kind of like one of those situations where you had to stop, and I guess I must have stopped and then just kind of eased forward and bumped into him, because it was a very slow speed collision. But going back to your Michigan crazy-ass laws, why? Why?
I don't know.
What did they hope to accomplish from that? It just sounds super backwards.
I really don't know, and especially because, we're snowy 4 months out of the year, and that makes the roads terrible, and it's really easy to slide and hit people. I don't know if that is a reason for the no-fault law, or if it's just a really fun side effect of it.
Yeah, I guess it seems like there would be a lot more cases where someone would get fucked over rather than benefit from that law.
Oh, yeah, no, sure. That's totally the case.
It just sounds awful.
It is. It's terrible. I love the city that I live in, but Michigan is just pretty backwards.
By the way, once again, I think we have topped our previous episode for most adult talk ever by talking about insurance.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the
Nice.
last one was like we were talking about banks, and that was the one with Connor.
Banks are pretty adultish.
Banks are pretty adultish, but I think insurance might be the most adult thing I've ever heard.
I guess so. I would think that, like, I don't know. Well, actually, that's insurance. What am I talking about? I was going to say, I think, like, Medicare or something. That would be pretty adultish. That is, in fact, the definition of insurance.
That's a
Yeah.
different type of insurance. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if we got like really into life insurance, I think that would probably top the adultish insurance talk.
Oh no!
My dad is
Oh,
actually
no.
about to qualify for Medicare, so that's exciting.
Oh yeah.
We were talking about that yesterday at lunch, and it was a beautiful conversation. But that's completely irrelevant to this podcast. So,
No, this podcast has just been going everywhere, like all of our podcasts.
well, let's
So
reel
that's
it
nice.
back in. Let's
Reel
reel
it back in, guys.
So, the podcast that I'm actually editing at this current moment, which should be out by the time that this podcast releases, I'm dealing with the problems of royalty-free music.
Ooh.
Oh, why don't I just send you the music that we've been using?
I don't want to use that music.
Okay.
I mean,
Sure.
I've found a good wealth of royalty-free music. There might just be the case that you might have to, or one of us might have to put in the description just the two composers that made the majority of this music.
I'll do that from now on. I'll put the composers
Yeah.
in
I
the
mean,
description.
If it's excessive, I mean, we can probably just boil it down to, like, these are the 4 authors that did the music, because you could find a pretty good wealth of things from one person.
I usually do Incompetech. So shout out to Kevin McLeod, friend of our sister show, Thank You Internet. He was on there. So
Oh, beautiful.
thanks, man.
Nice. So there's actually a simpler solution to the problem that I wish I was more competent at: composing your own music and
Oh.
using that.
That does not sound simpler, Jean-Claude. That sounds like a lot of work.
It depends on what route you go about it. If I just whipped out my acoustic guitar and just played a couple chords while I was finger picking, I could use make some little diddles.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's how we composed the Almost Adults theme. Yeah, funny story. I was having our good friend Dodge Williams over. Follow him at, I can't remember his Twitter, it'll be in the description. But he was like, yeah, so what are you doing for a theme song for your podcast? I'm like, oh, eventually I'll learn an instrument and I'll do something from there. He's like, so you're going to learn an entire instrument just for this one podcast? I'm like, yeah, probably. And he's like, you have an acoustic guitar. Let me just, compose something for you. And so we just, made up some songs for an hour, and we picked the best one. And that's the origin of the Almost Adults theme.
Nice.
That's very nice. Almost Adults History, and this has been a segment. So, Eric, do you compose your own music?
On occasion. It's been a while since I've really sat down and written, but yeah, I've been known to write a ditty or two here and there. I really need to get a new keyboard. I had to sell my keyboard for rent money back when I was being really irresponsible a few years ago. So I need to get a new one,
Damn.
but then I wouldn't be able to pay for it.
I had the same hardship when I was moving down. After undergrad, I had a relatively nice keyboard, but the beautiful thing about it is that I had it hooked up to my computer so I could play MIDI instruments and things like that.
Absolutely.
And I ended up selling it just because I didn't want to move it down to Tampa. It was just going to be a hassle. It was pretty big. Now I'm lacking a keyboard and lacking the ability to do weird stuff on a MIDI keyboard.
Definitely a MIDI keyboard would be a really easy way of composing your own music to avoid the royalty thing. Sort of more so that, I mean, an acoustic guitar is great, don't get me wrong, but there's just so much that you can do just with even the free version of Pro Tools and stuff like that. You can get some cool stuff going there, man.
Absolutely.
Do you think you'll have that out by Friday? Just a quick business talk?
Yes.
Okay, all right, yeah. I was a little worried because you're like, I am composing my own music.
No.
I'm like, uh-oh. Because I have a couple parody ideas for, theme songs that we could do in the future. I don't want to reveal those quite yet because we might do them. But I was talking to a good friend of mine, Aaron Overton. He was in the first Gage Your Interest episode. He composed a lot of Chronos. I'll give him a shout. He's fantastic. He's doing his master's in music production, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's fantastic. And I asked him, hey, is it possible to put this parody song together? He's like, oh, yeah, you have to pay me, of course. I'm like, all right, what's your rates? He's like, $1 million for, a full song. And exactly. I was like, and he's like, but for you as a friend, I'll do it for a little less. And I'm like, that's okay. We'll hold off on the song just for now.
Holy fuck. Yeah.
So if you ever want a super professional song and you have the money, go to Aaron. because
I would hope so at that rate.
Yeah, he's fantastic though. He's been doing music like all his life, so he knows a thing or two. We'll probably have him on the podcast eventually.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually been a pretty big question that I've been having for myself because, and I'm sure your friend Scott Falco probably has this question in his mind as well in terms of the rates that you charge when you do independent freelance work and things like that, depending on the time that you put in, what do you consider your pay for an hour of work and things like that. And that's difficult to equate, and I think
$1 million
might be the right amount.
Oh yeah, especially since he's like mixing the song, he's composing it. It was very nice of him to like offer me a discount just because we've known each other for so long.
Yeah.
Anyways, what were we talking about?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, Scott, at Scott_Falco, roommate, good guy. He goes kind of based on sort of like what him and his peers have sort of set as pretty good going rates for commission stuff. For like local theater things, you also kind of set what is expected. Because I just wrapped up some professional gigs, so now I can set a rate for doing that, which is pretty cool. That's all I want to say. Go ahead, bye.
Nice. Well, that was actually a perfect transition into my questions for you. So what is your ultimate professional goal, do you see, in terms of doing professional theater, or
To play King George on Hamilton.
that would be pretty awesome. I love performing. I do it. I love acting. I love everything about it. But I really would love to teach college and direct community shows.
Really? It seems like a lot of us like teaching. Jean-Claude, I know you've tutored before, and me personally, I like teaching people some editing techniques, and I like teaching them about movie stuff, because that's part of my job currently.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, maybe we should all be teachers. Maybe it should be Almost Teachers.
Almost teachers.
And it could be like Scrubs Season 9.
Oh no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, Scrubs Season 9 is like now a running joke on this podcast.
No, I don't want that to be a thing.
I heard they were going to make a season 9, and then they didn't.
Oh.
No, yes, it never happened.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like Dexter season 8. I heard that was going to be a thing.
It's like the second
And
half
then
of
they
Dexter.
didn't do it. Season 7 was actually pretty good.
I've never seen Dexter, so.
Well, then you can't say
So I
Yeah,
can't
no
really
opinion
say
then.
that. But why would you want to teach college in particular?
Because I can't stand high schoolers or anything younger than that.
My mother is actually a teacher. She transitioned from the 2nd grade to the 5th grade. And she's like, oh, I'm so happy that these people will be so much more mature.
Oh
I'm like, Mom, you have not seen the 5th graders I have seen in my day.
I'm completely
No,
on
no,
board
I-
with you in terms of teaching college students.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do high school students. It'd have to be in a very specific school. Like I would be more than willing to teach at my old high school, just because there's a level of professionalism that you're kind of looking for from your students, and whether or not they're actually dedicated to the work that you're teaching. And you get that
Right.
a lot more in college.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because especially in a realm like theater, they've chosen it as a major or a minor in something that they're seriously interested in studying.
Right.
Those minds are a lot more malleable and easier to
On
get
the flip
into.
side, if you're doing like intro to film or intro to acting, you'll have people in there who are like, yeah, I'm just here for the easy A.
Fun story, because I just restarted school. The school is putting me through Acting 1 this semester.
How are you doing?
It's really good.
Almost too good, as some
Like-
people would say.
It's just kind of funny going around the room, because it's like a freshman class, and they're like, and I'm 28, and then he's like, go around the room, say your name, state your acting experience, and everybody's all like, yeah, I was in so many shows in high school, and I was like, yeah, just closed a couple pro gigs, and I'm nominated for this award coming up, and it's cool.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Everyone applaud Eric. Everyone.
Everyone applaud. Bow down.
Cue the
Professional.
canned applause.
Award
sound.
nominated actor Eric Hand.
What award are you being nominated for?
It's called the Grand Award. It's the Grand Rapids sort of local theater
That is
thing.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still need to see her played. Man, it's on my queue of list of people I need to see, because I'm trying to watch more people's stuff.
Are there online voting ballots for this award? That
No.
You can submit to? Okay, no. All right, never mind.
I can talk about that at a different date if that ever happens. Never mind. Go ahead. I'm just thinking you can cut that. Gage.
Oh no, dude, you're thinking of the future of this podcast. Every person we bring on, we interview for the podcast.
That's good.
And we're like, how long do you see yourself with Almost Adults?
Yeah. Well, I mean, 10 years at least.
Good. That's a good answer, kid. We're going to fast track you to the top. You're hosting the show now.
You're hosting the show now. John Claude's going to take a 10-year break.
Come back, good as new. It's gonna be fantastic.
I would actually love to do an Almost Adults, 10 years after we end it, whenever that may be.
Next week.
Next week, yeah. Honestly, I told John Claude, I'm like, dude, I don't know how long we can do this podcast. You're super busy with your stuff. I'm super busy with my stuff. But, it's been, at least 6 months now, so we must be doing something right.
Absolutely. So let's start squeezing some things down.
Squeezing some cheeks.
Squeezing some cheeks.
I don't know. I think we ran out of topics, didn't we?
No, I mean, we still have musicals that we can talk about.
Yeah!
Oh,
Let's talk
yeah,
about musicals! Yeah!
I do like musicals.
All right.
I do like musicals. As I said before, Joss Whedon actually got me into musicals with
Dr. Horrible
Dr. Horrible
sing-along
sing-along blog. Yeah, sorry, I was blanking for a second. Yeah, I found out he also did Buffy the Vampire Slayer musical episode as well, which is also amazing. And he did an episode of Glee with Neil Patrick Harris, which was good, and normally I'm not a fan of Glee.
I was a huge fan of the first season. As a theater kid, I was honor-bound to appreciate in, the first season, and then it just got off the rails.
Yeah, but yeah, Joss Whedon, talented musical director. He might be
Yes.
directing the Flash and Supergirl musical crossover.
Oh my god.
I
Is
did.
that a legitimate idea?
That is a legitimate rumor going around, which would make sense because he does do superheroes and he does do musicals. Makes sense.
Just the
Alright.
sort of blasé way you threw that out. Oh yeah, and he might be doing this amazing sounding thing.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
That
Joss
I've
Whedon
never
is
heard of.
amazing, man. I want to see him do more original projects, do more stuff.
Bring back Firefly. I mean, use it.
I love Firefly so much, but you gotta let good things die.
Musicals. Jean-Claude,
Musical.
what's your favorite musical?
What's my favorite musical? Wow, okay, so the only experience that I have with musicals were the few that I performed in during high school and middle school, and those consisted of The Sound of Music, Into the
Oof.
Woods.
Oh, classic.
That's all I can remember right now, so I guess it's down to those two.
Who are you in Into the Woods? I need to know.
I was the wolf. I was also one of the
Prince.
princes.
Yeah.
It was a very small cast, as you can tell, so we kind of recycled roles.
Well, the Wolf and the Prince are always cast together.
Oh, are they really?
Yep. It's because the wolf is supposed to represent the true heart of what the prince is really after.
Oh, okay, yeah, then I guess that was me. I was the wolf and the
Yeah.
prince.
You're that dickbag that's trying to fuck over the baker's wife.
Absolutely, I'm trying to eat her up. Yeah, so that was me in that, and
That's
then
awesome.
in Sound of Music, I was Frederick, I believe.
Oh, the sixth guy.
The one
You're
with the-
16 going on
The high
17.
voice. Oh no, that wasn't Frederick then. Who was the kid with the high voice during the song where he's like, "Goodbye"?
Oh, I don't. They're all. The Von Trapp fucks. I don't know. It might be Frederick. I don't know. 'Cause, yeah,
I was the middle boy, whatever.
nice.
John Claude and his lead role, Middle Boy.
There might only be two sons. I don't even know anymore. Fucking A.
Wow,
How
we
about
are
that?
just destroying our musical credibility.
I'm sorry. That's why I was staying out of the whole thing where you're talking about Joss Whedon and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah. Have
haven't
you seen Dr.
Hamilton.
Horrible?
I've seen Dr. Horrible. Yeah, I have seen that.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
The red-haired girl in that movie is very cute.
Felicia Day.
Never been a
Yes.
big fan.
No?
I mean, no. I mean, okay.
I
hit the
don't
brakes.
really like her independent projects as much, like The Guild.
I was just about to be like, hey, I like the Guild, but I didn't like her in Dr. Horrible, so no.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we're flipped. Okay.
yeah.
So Felicia Day, if you put me and Eric together, we love you and dislike you.
She has that kind of personality as well as just appearance of, like, the everyday girl. Like, you would be in your acting 101 class and you'd look over and there would be a Felicia Day just kind of
Yeah.
sitting there. She's very humble in her appearance and roles, I guess.
She's very nerd chic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word to describe her.
That's my attraction to Felicia Day. She's a little bit of an every girl, but she's attainable, I guess. Is what it sounds awful to say.
It does. It does. You're
Like,
right.
if she was currently engaged and or married, I, Jean-Claude, could go in and just take that away from her. That's
not
what I
saying.
just heard.
It's like, okay, so you compare Felicia Day and, I don't know, like Jennifer Aniston or something like that. Like, you ain't getting Jennifer Aniston.
You might get a Jennifer Aniston. I
Challenge
don't know.
accepted. I don't know.
Alright.
Yeah.
Friends hasn't been on the air for about a decade, dude.
I mean,
Dude, she's been doing other stuff, man. She was nominated for an Oscar a couple years ago.
she's still rocking it.
Not a couple years ago. That was like a decade
like
ago.
I don't know.
Like
Was
five or
it?
6
Maybe.
years ago.
Probably.
couple. Somewhere in between a decade and a couple.
And yeah, but Jennifer Aniston, I get when she was younger, but now she's a little bit older.
Yeah.
That is what time does to people, Gage.
I'm sorry. Some people age terrifically, like Mr. John Stamos.
I think Jennifer Aniston has aged equally as well as John Stamos. They're both smoking.
I would concur.
Okay, apparently I'm the minority on this, so.
All right, finish us off, guys, with your gush about more musicals. I'd like to hear about that.
More musicals. Yeah. Frank Oz did a wonderful musical adaptation of Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, so good.
Which I really want to see that puppet of the plant, Audrey, too, because it just looks amazing. Actually, where I work, I believe we produce Little Shop of Horrors, and the two things I want in the exhibit are the Beetlejuice outfit and the Audrey 2 puppet. It's also great because we have this presentation on motion capture, mocap. They're like, back in the old days, we had makeup and animatronics and puppets. And, like, you look at those examples, and to me, they look a lot better than the mocap stuff they're showing off. They're like, now we have mocap. And I'm just like, it looks more real when you have...
because it is real.
Exactly. But, yeah, that video confuses me. That's a story for another time. But, yeah, I love Audrey 2 in that musical. And, like, I love how Steve Martin just showed up in the film. If you never watched it, it's just like halfway through the movie, it's just like, Steve Martin!
Yeah.
Have you seen Little Shop of Horrors?
Nope. No. I have no idea what you're talking about. I know who Steve Martin is.
I ruined the Steve Martin twist then.
Rick Moranis was Seymour, so...
There was a lot of very talented...
Do you know who Rick Moranis is?
No, I mean, if you show me a picture of him or told me what he was in, maybe.
The lead of the Honey, I Shrunk movies.
Yes, okay, good. Yeah,
also in Ghostbusters.
Also Ghostbusters, yeah.
Got it.
He was very talented. A lot of, like...
Big Canadian deal.
Yeah, a lot of cool actors in that. Like, John Candy was in that.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Murray was in it for a brief moment.
Bill fucking Murray.
That was fantastic. And that was actually John Candy's character in the musical adaptation of Fort Walton Beach High School's production of Little Shop of Horrors.
We did a little shop at Grand Rapids a couple years ago. It was pretty cool. It was fun.
Did you play the dentist?
No, I had just moved into the city, so like I wasn't there for auditions.
Oh, man.
But, one of my friends was the puppeteer behind Audrey 2. He did like pop and lock dances, like hip hop dances, like with the hearts and legs and stuff. It was really cool.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Or in the dentist, it would be a phenomenal role, though.
Oh, man. That's what I was aiming for. I was aiming for the dentist. But I never got it. I still want to be the dentist.
One day, Gage.
I bet Jean-Claude would be a fantastic dentist, even though he doesn't know what that is.
I know what a dentist is.
Do you know a dentist? Recommend me your local dentist.
Okay, never mind. I know what a dentist is. I don't know a dentist to recommend to you.
Let me toss one more out there for you, Jean-Claude.
Shoot.
Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I have not seen Sweeney Todd.
God, the two of you need to get together and culture themselves.
Yeah, we should have a movie night.
Absolutely.
Alan Rickman is in Sweeney Todd, and apparently he does a wonderful job singing.
Oh, he's fantastic.
All right, well, I actually have some free time on my hands recently, so just throw out a couple things that I should kind of culture myself with, and I will indulge.
The Buffy musical episode.
Nah, I want to listen to Eric.
Oh, fine. Fuck. Shit. All right. Go listen to your baby boy, Eric. Your new best friend. Ooh, Eric, why don't you take over the podcast for me? Ooh, apparently you're Jean-Claude's best friend now.
I just want his advice.
All right, Eric, go ahead.
Professional award-nominated actor / Jean-Claude's best friend, Eric Gage here. No, I mean, Little Shop is a must-see, in my opinion. I'm going to try and stick to the musical theme as much as possible, since, you know,
you can go a little
themes
off
are
track
good.
if you want to go a little bit.
Moulin Rouge is a must-see, absolutely. I don't know if either of you have seen it.
I watched it a lot when I was a kid. My sister was very into it. We're talking about the films, by the way, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
I've tried watching Moulin Rouge. It's just so out there for me, which is weird because normally I like that stuff, but it's just a little too weird for me, and I don't know.
Across the Universe is really good too.
I've seen Across the Universe. Okay, that one I know.
That one's super good. It may be my all-time favorite movie. It's just so rewatchable.
Yeah, it's very,
It's
very,
very
very
beautiful
good.
to look at.
And I did
I
not
love
realize
the covers.
I did not realize how beautiful the voice of is the same actor from the movie 21, right?
Yes,
Very
21
specific,
came
but yes.
after.
Yeah, he has a beautiful voice.
Jim
Dear God.
Sturgis. He does. He does. I mean, and that's something that I was actually going to touch on when Gage said, well, and Alan Rickman, he sang really well. The thing about acting and people that come up through, like most people come through the theater, and in order to be successful at the theater, you have to be able to sing. So it's not surprising almost ever to me when a famous Hollywood actor turns out to be a beautiful singer, because it just means, oh yeah, you probably went up through the theater. If like you're a youth actor and you come up like that, maybe like, I'd be surprised if Leo DiCaprio could sing, because he's been famous since he was 6 years old. I don't know. It's a thing that you have to be able to do. You have to be able to dance a little bit, you have to be able to sing really well, and you have to be able to act.
If you see, like, the interview with Johnny Depp, it was a while ago when I saw this, like, when the movie was coming out. He's like, Tim Burton asked me if I could sing, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe I could. And so I sang, and he's like, yes, that will do. And I'm like, what? How can you just, like, sing? You're the lead actor of this. How does he not test you? I guess because you're best buds, but still, why?
And I honestly thought Johnny Depp was the weakest part of that movie. But, yeah. Or like casting Russell Crowe in Les Mis. That bothers the shit out of me. I don't know. Have either of you guys seen the Les Mis movie?
Yes. I think Hugh Jackman also really bothers me in that movie.
He bothers me on one song, and it's for very specific reasons. But Russell Crowe just can't sing.
No,
and it's kind of a shame, because there's no not singing in that production.
Yeah, I did not like the Les Mis movie very much. It was snore-inducing, and it was long, and I can't remember. I remember, like, 2 musical numbers.
Here's a culture thing for both of you guys. Go see it on stage.
Yes, I would love to see the 10th anniversary version.
Yeah, the 10th one's really good, the 25th one's really good, too. Find it by people who are really good at what they do.
Okay.
And it'll change your life, man.
Oh, damn.
And one last thing when we're talking about musicals. There's a musical TV show that I really like called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. My friend Nino turned me onto it, and I highly recommend it to you folks.
All right, check out the description.
Just go on Netflix, type in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
And I figured out what my favorite musical is.
Oh, man, here it comes.
Is it Final Thoughts? Final Thoughts. Is it that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's the Final Thoughts thing.
No. What's your favorite musical?
No. This is my final thought. Here we go. Final thought. My favorite musical is the musical/opera from the Futurama episode where Fry writes an opera for Leela, and they all sing during that. That's my favorite musical ever.
The Devil Hands Are Idle Playthings or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
The Holophoner.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Futurama has some wonderful episodes, and I think that's definitely up there.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm glad I have your approval.
Okay, all right. Just I'm trying to back you up here.
No. That was absolutely sincere. I don't know if it came off as ingenuous.
It came off. It did a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Okay, well, it was absolutely completely sincere.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to have your approval.
All right.
All right, Eric, what are your final thoughts on this matter?
Final thoughts, everybody should get out and go see some local theater productions, musicals or not. If it takes a musical to get you out, then that's fine, but support your local theaters. And, yeah, arts are cool, man.
Arts are cool, man. My final thought, I suppose. If you ever look into the stars, and you see yourself in there, I say just this one thing. Look into the stars, look into their eyes, and say, I can be one of you. I'm Colin Farrell.
Okay, that sounds like, who the fuck is he impersonating?
It's like the worst Irish accent I've ever heard.
I am mostly Irish, so that should be the most genuine thing I've ever done.
Get in touch with some ancestors of yours and get some dialect.
Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. All right.
I think that's it. There's a pretty lackluster ending. We should do something a little more exciting.
Eric, I want to hear your Irish accent.
Oh no, I can't. You're just gonna put me on the spot like that. That's Scottish, and I can't. I'm just now I'm in Scottish, and I can't stop it.
Oh man.
And you? Give us something Western European.
I think I can do an Irish accent. What was the line that you said, Gage?
I'm Colin Farrell.
Look into the stars.
If you look into the stars and you see yourself among them, just think to yourself, I can be one of them. I'm Colin Farrell.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah?
That's good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, we'll close with that then.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Top of the evening to you.